This is a video from the Satanic Panic back in the 80s. Absolutely unhinged stuff. They're convinced that, like, Satanists are around every corner, like, torturing kids and stuff. It's nuts. Let's give this a listen. A law enforcement guide to satanic cults.
I'm Gordon Coulter. For many years, I served as a law enforcement officer. Today, it's my privilege to host this program on a little-known area in law enforcement, but important to every small community and every large city across our vast country. It's the area of satanic cults.
Dude, I love this guy's glasses so much.
And how they impact our families, our children, and our communities.
Like, I'm sure I don't need to point it out, but satanic cults are not, like, real or out there or a problem or whatever. This is just total nonsense.
In satanic occultism, that which is good is bad, and that which is bad is good. And as you view this learning and educational tape, pay attention to notice the reverse of everything that is normal becoming abnormal. There are many crimes that are unsolved in our cities, and many of those crimes have ritualistic overtones, but they're hard to find, and it's difficult to find the depth of where these things go and who.
You think maybe that's because you're completely full of shit? Did you ever knock that one around? Maybe there isn't some ridiculous ritualistic whatever. These people are in government right now, you know. They're running government, like today, like right now, they're in there. And they are now considered to be jokes universally, but a lot of them still hold these beliefs. Like Greg Locke, for example, he still holds these beliefs.
Who may have done them. And so today we hope to be able to shed some light on a dark, dark area, an area that has been taboo for so many years, that is also protected by the United States Constitution and the freedom of religion.
Oh, no. Are you telling me that people have the right to practice their religion the way they want? The Constitution protects that? That upsets me, man. I don't like that. Don't tell me that.
That's why it's very difficult for us as law enforcement officers to really investigate. But the question really is, where do the freedoms end and our responsibilities begin for our communities?
Where do the freedoms end and our responsibilities begin? Wow.
Satanic cults and their various offshoots exist throughout the world. However, a difficulty immediately arises with the word cult. Many cults fall.
If you don't know who I am, I got my start on YouTube by talking about cults heavily, and I even wrote a detailed model about how cults operate and what one might consider a cult. I've worked with the cult experts in the world. I know all of the cult experts. Some would call me a cult expert, but I don't consider myself an expert in anything, pretty much. Just communicator, just very familiar with a lot of these things. So anyway, this is kind of diving into my forte, if you will. Let's see what they have to say here.
Under the protection of the United States Constitution, the freedom of religion. When we talk of cults and Satanism from a law enforcement perspective, we have to tread lightly. That is one of the reasons it is so difficult to investigate satanic cult activities. We know what the satanic cult professes to believe. We know what their potential for violence might be if they choose to be true to their belief. We even have evidence, here and there, that leads us to believe that some sort of rituals are taking place.
They have no evidence of any of this, of course.
However, unless we catch them actually breaking the law, or find evidence that leads directly to participants in some illegal activity, we have no case.
Wow, how about that? You're trying to tell me you have no evidence of anything and you're trying to find aforementioned evidence? God, these people are such jokes, man, for real.
The problem involved with the cult explosion is becoming a many-faceted puzzle confronting law enforcement today. Not only is it difficult for us to understand the secret practices of satanic worship, but there are deeper reasons that go beyond mere lust for power and the unlimited drugs and deviant sexual behavior that go with it.
Bro, who told you that drugs are a necessary part of Satan worship? Who said that? I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, let's continue.
Unfortunately, the police investigator attempts to analyze these types of crimes with his routine of criminal investigation.
So he says, sorry, Kevin Ramsey says, you have the advantage of firsthand knowledge. That's true. Yeah, I do. I guess that qualifies me to speak on cult issues a little bit more than others, right? Having experienced it directly.
In the cases of satanic practices involving deviant sexual behavior, the investigator forgets the offense was committed by an abnormal person influenced by many strange and complex motivations, and therefore, law enforcement's analysis of the crime and the criminal must be guided by the principles of abnormal sexology.
Abnormal sexology, is that like is that a field that I can study in college? I'm interested.
It is imperative that these cases be solved. They are vicious, revolting, and create fear in any community. Men are apprehensive for the safety of their wives, mothers, and daughters. Women for their
hide your wives, hide your children. They're coming for all of us. They're coming for everybody.
Children and themselves. It is only through proper training that the police officer can hope to gain the ability to understand and recognize which are regular offenses and those that belong to cult behaviors.
Dude, I think, am I going the wrong way? I can't tell. I thought that there was a Chocobo this way. I'm confident there is.
This is a law enforcement problem. Therefore, all law enforcement officers should be familiar with the different types of degeneracy, so they'll be able to associate the type of criminal with the offense committed, and to properly charge and prosecute the criminal in an intelligent manner.
So you gotta train prosecutors. This cop is training prosecutors. Okay. Okay, yes, I see that there is a picture of a skull here. Who took this picture, I wonder? Was it the people creating this film? Dude, this is a sick song. This reminds me of a song. I'm trying to think of it. Where do I know this song from? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Wait. Oh my god, I can't think of the song. Dun 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 dun. Anybody know that song? All right, let's continue.
There are three general areas and levels of involvement in satanic occult worship.
3 levels, okay.
The first would be dabblers. They're people who just use it for fun and games, may be involved in some video games and that kind of level, possibly a little graffiti. But
possibly a little graffiti, okay. Oh, he's real. He's serious. He's talking about Dungeons and Dragons, FYI.
Reasonably innocent. The second level would be those that are involved for spiritual reasons, and they recognize that there's power in the worship of Satan. These people generally worship together and try to find the mystery of it all. And then the third level would be criminal involvement, and that's the area that interests us. These people actually believe that they gain power through criminal activity.
Nobody believes that. Not one single human being believes that, okay? Get help.
Through killing people through various rituals that are against the law in our states and in our country.
Wow, they like zipping to this like intro a lot, don't they?
Eric Pryor is a former satanic high priest turned Christian who now spends his time educating people about the dark side of satanic cults.
Oh my God, we have an official satanic expert here.
When I was practicing occultist, oftentimes I would come into this park and practice on various different holidays. lunar holidays and occultic holidays, and we'd actually have rituals in the park when we didn't have a space to do rituals indoor. So what I'd like to do is take you into the park and just kind of show you one of the places that you would start asking your questions and start looking to see, what the occultists are up to. There's two different communities that use this park. One is the pagan or occultic community, and the other community is, of course, the homosexual community.
Oh my God, are you kidding me right now?
Interestingly enough, they go hand in hand.
Oh my God, dude, this is insane, bro. You got to be shitting me with this. Oh, one more time. Just step back a little bit.
The pagan or occultic community.
Okay, you're looking for people from the pagan or occultic community.
And the other community is, of course, the homosexual community. Interestingly enough, they go hand in hand. And so, well, see, here you go. Upon entering the...
Oh my God, dude, really? You can't convince me they didn't draw this shit as they walked in. Come on.
Park, I mean, you can see they've already got started. Okay.
They've already got started. Oh my God.
This is a pentacle. Interesting thing about this pentacle is it's an upright pentacle. This is not a satanic pentacle. Now,
they are so full of shit with everything that they're saying. This is funny, actually. I like this. This is good. I gotta write this down. I'm gonna write this one down. We're gonna talk about this later. Law Enforcement Guide to Satanic Cults, 1994. And then 7 minutes. They find a pentacle in the park, totally at random and unstaged. This is nuts, bro. Who would do this? Just draw, other than to just like be kind of a rebel, I guess, just to be a shithead or something. So that'd be a Wiccan pentagram. I actually did a little bit of research into this, and I understand that Wicca is a pretty new group, actually, I believe. I'm willing to be corrected on this. I think it came about in like the 50s or something like that, and it was because this guy claimed to have discovered an old tribe in the middle of nowhere that was basically an unbroken line back to like the Salem witch trials people, like the witches of the Salem witch trials. But of course we know that this, the witches of the Salem witch trial weren't really witches, so that kind of falls apart right there. But the claim is that it was an unbroken line, and he started like practicing under their whatever. I don't believe that he found anybody at all in the first place. I think it was all made up. But anyway, that is modern Wicca, what he created. I'm trying to think if there's something else I wanted to mention about this. Like, witchcraft is different, I suppose you could say. It's got its own like history and all of that other stuff. They're separate things, I understand. So anyway, a lot of people from this era claim that Wicca is witchcraft and that they use the pentacle and all that. That's not necessarily accurate. They all have like unique histories that I'm not super familiar with, so you'd have to look to somebody else for that information, but yeah.
The reason why this pentacle would not be considered satanic is because it has one point up. Now, Satanists would reverse this star, or pentacle as it's called.
These people are just full of shit completely. Don't buy any of this.
And have 2 points up. Those represent the horns of Baphomet and or the horns of Satan. But now, right over here, I can see on a tree here, there's a inverted cross. Now, this is satanic. This is a very generic symbol.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on now. You're telling me that there was a Wiccan and, well, I don't know, like a Wiccan, I assume. You're telling me there's a Wiccan and a Satanist in the same little spot there, hanging out next to each other, presumably. And they were drawing, like, pictures of things on trees with each other? That's really convenient to have found those two things together, right?
There's a inverted cross. Now, this is satanic. This is a very generic symbol. Let me see. It's actually fairly fresh, too.
Oh, my God, dude.
This here, of course, is a bastardization of Christianity, and it's a very common symbol. Obviously, they probably had a party or ritual here within the past night or two. Usually what they'll
Oh, please.
do is they'll mark, it's almost like a path. They'll mark a path to kind of show you where the action's at. The colors they'll use will be white, red, and black. Those.
Okay, great. So they're going to mark a path for you, or say the police, to follow, to find where they're doing their weird cult ritual stuff and sacrificing animals and things, right? Oh, great, great, great. So we know where they are and we know where they're doing their thing. So send cops there then if they're sacrificing people and arrest them. Would you be surprised to find out that that has not happened? This is fictitious. I'll take a step and I'll tell you this. I'll go this far. I will say there were back in I think the 90s there was a rash of mailbox bombs. People putting bombs in mailboxes, blowing the mailboxes up. It was mostly kids. They were low power bombs, just stupid things, you know. And it was actually a big problem. And the news was all over it. They were talking about it nonstop until every news agency all agreed at once to stop talking about it completely. Stop putting it in the news or anything. And within a month of that, the trend died. It's because attention is being drawn to it, which got people interested in fucking with others, because that's what people do. They fuck with people, right? Now, I will take this step and say maybe there were people that saw this stuff on the news and were looking for an opportunity to fuck with somebody. So they, drew these, not these specifically, but they drew some pentagrams and upside down crosses and stuff on various things in various places just to fuck with people. I'll take that step. But I would argue do I want to take it this far? I don't know. I would argue not one single human being in the United States in the past 100 years, or ever, but just limit it to that, has ever intentionally drawn a pentagram as part of a real ritual to worship Satan. I would argue that much. But, this guy suddenly comes across two of them, so wow. Who could have seen that coming? That's really surprising.
Those are the dominant colors of the satanic movement. And basically, well, okay, over here, see?
What, a third? Really? Wow, there are Satanists all over this park. Impressive. They're everywhere. They're so widespread.
Here you go. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, what you're looking at here is called Voodoo Vivi. This is kind of...
Dude, this is all made up. This whole thing is fabricated by these nutty Christian extremists. Oh my God.
Like a coat of arms, if you will, for the demonic. And the implications of this is definitely satanic. When I showed you earlier the one pointed up star as we first came in, and I told you that, the implications of Satanism are 2 points up. As you can see, there are 2 points up here, and someone has made it very clear they were probably worshiping Set, because it says Set here, so it's pretty obvious.
Oh my God, bro.
Obvious. Now, this here, if I'm not mistaken,
you are.
Looks like a money Vivi. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were here in the park doing a money ritual. And this is very typical. This is the kind of thing that you can expect to see not only on crime scenes, but in areas where occultists hang out. Like gang graffiti, occultists kind of communicate to each other through their graffiti.
Oh my God, please. So they're a gang. They're basically gangs. They're a part of a gang. Wow.
The rise there up here is a very flat area, concrete area, that is used often. I even frequented it for
when he was a Satanist, you see.
Ritual practice. Well, there you go. You can see from here 666 and an eye. Now that eye above 666 is an Egyptian eye, the eye of Anubis. So
you mean Anubis?
I can tell by looking at this eye that these people that were up here were into ceremonial magic. These aren't witches. These are definitely Satanists.
Oh my God, please.
Look at these dumpsters. See, this is how they talk to each other.
Through dumpsters?
Now, what you see here, this is gang graffiti, okay? And this is how gangs talk to each other,
I thought they used the phone. That's my mistake.
okay? But now this is how occultists talk to each other. This here is a psilocybin
The money was an offering for sex, as you can see at the top of the symbol, right?
mushroom. So probably they had a psilocybin ritual, which
You consider maybe it's just some fucking that wants a mushroom on this dumpster. You know, I threw a party one time. They were not, none of them were Satanists or pagan or whatever. They all identified as Christian. I don't know if they were. We all got drunk as shit, and one of them was a tattoo artist. And I woke up in the morning to find this tattoo artist with his gun putting a tattoo on this chick's body of a mushroom because she likes mushrooms. That's it. She's just a big mushroom fan. She thinks they're neat. There were no mushrooms at the party. She wasn't messed up on mushrooms. She just thought they were cool. That's all.
which is not uncommon. Occultists are known for using peyote and psilocybin. And
This is so stupid.
so this was probably a psilocybin ritual. Okay, here you go. Shem Hemfarash.
Like, did they just go to some random park and find this shit here? Is that what he's saying he did?
Is a satanic invocation, and Halley is also part of a satanic invocation. There is a book out called The Greater Key of Solomon, and in The Greater Key of Solomon, you will see on the seal of Solomon this word. All right, from what I can tell, from the graffiti and everything that I've seen, and what I see here on the concrete, it looks like they actually had the ritual here. Now, there's an N here for north, and there's an S over here for south. Now, while these are not the true directions, obviously...
What? Then how do you know it stands for north and south? Are you just pulling that right out of your ass? You think that maybe it was two, like, lovebirds that put their initials down? Could that have been it, maybe?
Someone had a bad sense of direction.
Yeah, see, Satan doesn't imbue you with a good sense of direction. Okay.
I'm assuming that this is where they actually had their ritual. One of the reasons why they would use this particular area to have a ritual is it is on concrete, and it's a nice open area. When we used to come up and have rituals, and we had a group, we would look for an open, flat space. This is an open, flat space. This would be an ideal place for them to...
Why do you need it to be flat? Is there something, like, do they practice something that requires flatness in their locations or whatever? I don't understand.
have a ritual.
Like, people, can they not walk uphill? Is it not possible for a Satanist to walk uphill, so they always have to walk downhill secretly? Or they have to take, like, a wheelchair up the hill?
Now, if I was a solo occult practitioner, I might do it in the bushes somewhere and have a little altar set up.
Well, I'm sure everybody does it in those bushes.
So what you're doing is when you come onto a scene and you're investigating a scene, you look on the ground and you'll find clues as to what happened. Right here, okay, we have a rope here.
The hell portal can only be summoned on flat ground. That checks out. I can see that. I'm glad I have a bona fide Satanist here to tell me how to summon a hell portal. Bro, this is so stupid. Oh my god.
This is a noose.
Oh my god, he found a noose. Really? Okay.
And actually, if you look at it closely, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but there's blood on this noose.
Oh my god, dude. Really? You know that the cops investigate this shit upside down, backward, and forward? If there's genuinely blood on a noose or something, that shit doesn't just, like, go unchecked. That is investigated into the ground, as it should be. And why would there be blood on a noose, by the way? Doesn't a noose kill you in different ways other than with blood, I thought? Am I mistaken?
Now, this could have been used either to bind someone up in some type of a ritual scourging, or it could have actually been used on an animal that was sacrificed. when sacrificing a cat or a dog.
Oh my God, dude. You know what's the most disturbing about all of this? Somebody came up with this shit. Somebody thought of this. Somebody was sitting there and they thought to themselves, what do Satanists do? And they came up with this absolutely depraved shit that nobody is actually doing. Like really disgusting, whacked out, messed up shit. Like sacrificing dogs and stuff. No one is doing that. Why did your mind go there? That is like horrific, bro. Get help. As Michael Jordan would say. Let me find. You know what? I gotta put this on my I gotta put this on my soundboard.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yes, perfect. I love that. Awesome. We've officially got a brand new sound effect here. That's great.
Stop it. Get some help.
I love that.
Of course, animals move around a lot and they get unruly, so they would tie it up. But there is blood all over this particular noose. Now, these are the kind of things that you'd be looking for. What we have here is a medicine bottle of 2% xylocaine. For those of you with medical knowledge, you would know.
What was it? Novocaine?
Xylocaine.
Xylocaine. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what xylocaine is, but if it ends in cane, it's probably a God, what's the word? I'm suddenly blanking on the word. It's probably a numbing agent. That's it, numbing agent. Novocaine is used by dentists. Benzocaine is used for like a spray for sore throats. Lidocaine is used for a local anesthetic if they have to like inject something big or something like that. So I'm assuming it's some kind of a local anesthetic.
For those of you with medical knowledge, you would know xylocaine, known as lidocaine,
That was a local anesthetic then. It goes in a needle. It's kind of like a gel, and you just inject it under the skin.
Is a numbant. It's used to numb people, and for that matter, animals. And of course, if you're going to ritually sacrifice an animal or a human...
Look, if you're going to ritually sacrifice an animal, you don't care if it hurts. I would be willing to bet. But guess what? Nobody's doing that. Seriously, bro, get help.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get help. For real. This is like too much now, okay?
Human, for that matter, in a public place, you don't want them to be screaming in pain. So it's not uncommon for occultists to use something like this, and of course, here we have it. On this tree here, we have some more graffiti. It's in red, which is a classical satanic color. Now, what's interesting here is the number 9. 9 represents the 9 satanic statements. You can find this in a book by Anton Sanzer LaVey.
Anton LaVey, creator of the Satanic Temple back in the 60s. He was one of the first Satanists, and he's a non-theistic Satanist, so he didn't believe in God. God, these people are so full of shit. Imagine what it must have been like for Anton LaVey, like dealing with all of this stupid shit. This must have been a nightmare. 24/7, listening to idiots complain about him and claim that he's this evil blah, blah, blah. That must have been wild.
Which is called the Satanic Bible, and you will see that there are 9 satanic statements. This is the way occultists tell each other, hey, we're Satanists, and we're partying.
Oh my God, dude. These people seriously need help.
The 9 Satanic Statements from the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. Number 1, Satan represents indulgence instead of...
Okay, right. So the Satanic Bible was the antithesis of the Bible. It was supposed to be everything that the Bible was not. So Jesus says, turn the other cheek. The Satanic Bible says, give the person a chance, and if they still like bother you and harass you and won't leave you alone, destroy them with everything in you. The point was really that God was a liar in the Bible, like nonstop. It was lie after lie after lie from God. But Satan didn't lie once, not one time. So the Satanic Bible, I guess, is kind of pointing that out, saying, you know, Satan seems to be more trustworthy. Maybe we should like examine Satan's philosophical positions or whatever. It was non-theistic ultimately, though. It viewed Satan as a literary character, not as a literal, actual, like, being that was whatever. That's not what it was about.
Of abstinence. Number 2, Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Number
Right. Let me just step back through these again. So Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Yeah, because God has all kinds of restrictions on your life. And Satanists, or the LaVeyan Satanists, believe that we're here, we get one spin on this planet, and we should enjoy it while we're here. You know, I don't know if this is going to help or hurt the situation, but regarding Trump, I'm not going to address it very much. But when I die, the universe ends. It's all over. Like, everything implodes in on itself when I die, and that's it. So I'm going to do the best that I can while I'm here to make everybody else's lives a little bit better. And maybe last a little bit longer so that their universe doesn't end sooner rather than later. Anton LaVey seemed to recognize that fact and set out to make people enjoy their time here a little bit more. Just not be miserable 24/7, basically, with all of these stupid restrictions and everything else, with a promise that after you die, after the universe ends, then you'll get to enjoy life. So be miserable now so that you can enjoy it later. Anton LaVey presumably wanted people to enjoy life while they're here, while they have it, before the universe ends. Anyway, I don't know. That's kind of the point. I thought it was an interesting perspective on it. So he says, Anton LaVey says you should indulge in things and enjoy things rather than abstain from things. It doesn't, when it says abstinence also, it doesn't mean like sexual abstinence. That's obviously a part of it. But over anything, it's just like an abstract abstinence. It's general abstinence.
indulgence instead of abstinence. Number 2, Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams.
Right, you're here now. Enjoy your time.
Number 3, Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit.
Yeah, because, think about it in terms of what God stands for and what, we know the right thing to be. Evangelicals often say God defines morality, but that's not true. God does not define morality. We have defined morality in this culture, and everybody understands that because William Lane Craig, for example, argues that slavery is a bad thing, that we should not do slavery, even though God in the Bible was in favor of slavery. So he finds a way to make the Bible and what God's values are in it match up with his active current moral values in this time, place, and culture. So anyway, these people, when you really think about it, they recognize, they know inside. They may not know consciously, but they know.
Number 4, Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates.
Wait, what was that one? Kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. Oh, I see. Interesting. So I guess that one is appreciate those who deserve to be appreciated rather than giving, I don't know how I'll say it, giving child molesters a 16th chance as the priest at this church. You don't need to give this guy a 16th chance.
Number 5, Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek.
Right, as I mentioned earlier.
Number 6, Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires.
That's interesting. Okay. Concern for the responsible. No, I'm sorry. Responsibility to the responsible. So care for people who deserve it rather than colossal pieces of shit, basically. Okay, I like it.
It's responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. Number 7, Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of his divine spiritual and intellectual development, has become the most vicious animal of all.
Okay, yeah. Look, I don't know if all of these things are in the Satanic Bible, so take it all with a grain of salt. I'm not sure. I do know that some of them are. And I don't even think they're worded like this. They're not. They are rewording this. I know they, at the very least, reworded one of them to be less like the one about destroying, like vengeance rather than turning the other cheek. That's not how it was worded, to my knowledge. So be wary of anything that they say. But tentatively, so far, yeah, most of these things are in there.
Number 8. Satan represents all of the so-called sins, as they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification.
But I assume they're talking about like the 7 deadly sins. Those things are not actually in the Bible, though, you know. Those things are in Catholic lore, like gluttony, lust, and I don't even know what the others are, you know. What are the 7 deadly sins? Pride, envy, gluttony, sloth, greed, lust, pride, and wrath. Yeah, those are not in the Bible. I mean, they are individually, I think, maybe, but there's no verse that lists those 7 things. Anyway, the point is,
Sin.
those things lead to happiness. That's the point. They lead to happiness. People enjoy eating. That's fun. They like it. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying that. People enjoy being proud of their children, having pride in their kids. It's nothing wrong with being proud of somebody. Like, the 7 deadly sins are not bad by any stretch. It's only in the context of religion that they're viewed as bad.
As they all lead to physical, mental, or emotional gratification. And number 9. Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, as he has kept it in business all these years.
That's an interesting way to view it. Satan has kept the church in business all these years, huh?
This is the symbol for the Church of Satan, and
Oh my god, dude. Is he still going through all this stupid shit? Wait, no, I need to be up here. Yeah, that's where I need to be. The Church of Satan is, again, non-theistic. So you're telling me that they're over here doing, like, blood rituals and shit? No, they're normal human beings. They're not nutcases that are sacrificing shit.
this is kind of like their crest, their coat of arms, if you will. This would imply that these people either have affiliations with the Church of Satan or perceive themselves to have affiliations with the Church of Satan. Everything that we've seen here indicates Satanism.
Okay. Yeah, I guess everything that they see there indicates Satanism because they painted it on those trees. You can't convince me he's just walking through a park and stumbles across these symbols. Really?
Different ritual sites will have different configurations and markings, but this gives you a good example of what to look for. First, upon entering the park, the pentacle and inverted cross were displayed. Second, further up the path, we found a voodoo vivi, which indicated a money ritual. Third,
Okay, who is playing the flute badly right now? What is this?
a money ritual.
Is that what that is, the flute?
Third, at the open cement areas that are common to satanic activity, we found graffiti that showed recent activity. In addition, we found a bloody noose and a xylocaine vial.
Like, why would somebody leave a bottle of lidocaine behind? That shit's expensive, and isn't that, oh my god, what do you call it? Isn't that, prescription only? How would they even get their hands on it?
Fourth, on the way out of the park, we found another inverted cross and the number 9, which, as we demonstrated, represents the 9 satanic statements.
Wait, they demonstrated that? I don't remember them demonstrating that. I remember them saying that there are 9 statements in the Satanic Bible. What?
From the Satanic Bible. Fifth and finally, we found markings indicating that the ritual was by followers of the Church of Satan.
Behind me is the city of San Francisco, a city known for the first satanic church in America. Anton LaVey established this church under the freedoms of our country in 1966.
under the freedoms of our country. Can you believe that? Infuriating that people have freedoms in their country.
and wrote the Satanic Bible.
Anton LaVey, perhaps the best-known Satanist in America.
Dude, this song is so... It reminds me so much. God, it's on the tip of my tongue. I gotta write this timestamp down so I remember to come back to it and try to figure out what the song is. What is this song? It's not this song. It's just so similar.
Anton LaVey, perhaps the best-known Satanist in America, compiled his years of cult knowledge into two of Satanism's
Cult knowledge.
most important handbooks, the Satanic Bible and a companion, the Satanic Rituals.
Yeah, I don't know what the Satanic Rituals is. Hang on. What is the Satanic Rituals? Anton LaVey. Let's find out. Satanic Rituals book is a book by Anton LaVey, published in 1972 by Avon Books as a companion volume to the Satanic Bible. The book outlines 9 rituals and ceremonies intended for group performance, with an introductory essay to each. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I know that I know that the Church of Satan is more mystical than me. I understand they believe in like magic a little bit, like supernatural whatever. I don't. The Satanic Temple is completely not just non-theistic, but non-supernatural. So the Satanic Temple is preferable in my opinion, but La Messe Noire sounds French. Black Mass. A ceremony celebrated by various satanic groups, it has allegedly existed for centuries in different forms, and the modern form is intentionally a sacrilegious and blasphemous parody of a Catholic Mass. Okay. In the 19th century, the Black Mass became popularized in French literature, in books such as Satanism and Witchcraft by Jules Michelet and Là-Bas by Joris Karl Huysman, I think. Modern revivals began with H.T.F. Rhodes' book, The Satanic Mass, published in London in 1954, and there's now a range of modern versions of the Black Mass performed by various groups. All right. Well, sure enough, I suppose that this book does exist, apparently. In the Roman Catholic Church, Black Mass, a Requiem Mass Black Mass in the Roman Catholic Church, a Requiem Mass during which the celebrant wears black vestments. The term's more commonly used, however, for a blasphemous and usually obscene burlesque of the true Mass performed by satanic cults. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Encyclopedia Britannica. You know, I've come to find that Britannica sucks. It's really bad. I found, when I was doing research for my book, Was Hitler an Atheist? Amazon and Audible, check it out. I found that Encyclopedia Britannica was full of shit completely. It was all lies, all the way down. Like, they claimed that Dietrich Bonhoeffer was arrested and executed for his involvement in the July 20th assassination attempt against Hitler. That's not true. He was not involved in that assassination attempt. He was in jail by the time it happened. Anyway, that was Encyclopedia Britannica that said that shit. And I assumed it was true until I started looking around at other sources. None of them mentioned it. None of the others. So anyway, don't trust Encyclopedia Britannica. They are not a good source, I've come to find.
The general practice of Satanism promotes 3 basic areas of attraction: gratification of flesh, gratification of ego, and power. Some Satanists, and a significant number of others, feel that Satanism is a viable way of getting supernatural help because they are too distant from the good God to have any hope of reaching him. The good God and his virtues, such as beauty and joy, are essentially impractical. And it would be easier to catch the notice of an evil God than a good one.
As they say, when you do something right, nobody notices you've done anything at all.
The notice of an evil God than a good one.
To better understand Satanism, it might be appropriate to talk about some of the initiation practices for Satanists. And to better understand them, you would take a look at what might be traditional Christianity or some normal faith, and if you reversed it, it would be something that Satanists would embrace.
Initiation into Satanism or a similar cult usually includes a spoken denial of the Christian faith, generally accompanied by saying the Lord's Prayer back.
Well, some of this is true, yeah. As I said, it's the antithesis of Christianity because they recognize that Christianity has some really bad qualities about it, like really, really bad stuff, so.
Backwards. Rebaptism in Satan's name and taking a new name to replace the given Christian name.
I'm not sure if that's still practiced. Like, Christians used to give Christian names long and long ago. Like, when you were baptized, you would be named Christopher or some other thing, but I don't think they don't do that anymore, really. And I'm not sure if Satanists do either. You got to be skeptical of everything these people say on this.
An oath of allegiance to Satan while standing in a magic circle, entering the initiate's name in the Book of Death. And a promise to sacrifice children to Satan, and marking the initiate with the devil's mark.
This program is designed to help law enforcement officers better understand satanic cults. Now remember, all satanic people do not commit crimes.
Really? Wow. I'm surprised. I thought for sure that all satanic people committed crimes.
Some of their activities are perfectly legal. But there are some things that some Satanists do that lead to illegal behavior, and some of them seem rather innocent on the surface. Some of those things might be just simple vandalism or trespass.
Vandalism or trespass. Those aren't innocent. Like, those are illegal and should not be done. But okay.
Cruelty to animals that might be detected through mutilations.
That's not legal, and it shouldn't be legal either, and nobody's doing that, okay? Get help.
Stop it. Get some help.
And sacrifice. Kidnapping, whether they're adults or children, or even kidnapping of animals.
What? None of these things are innocent or legal, or innocent and seemingly legal. What are you talking about? Who is doing these things in the name of Satan or whatever? There was a story in another one of these Satanic Panic videos where these people claimed that there was a kid he was a really good kid, honest, hard worker, got straight A's. He starts playing Dungeons and Dragons, and the next thing you know, he killed his whole family. I mean, it's obviously complete bullshit, but who buys this stuff? Who believes this? This is nuts.
Molestation, child abuse, child sexual abuse that may
Wait, I'm not sure how some of these things are different from each other.
be different than just harming a child.
I'm sorry. You lost me, bro. Who wrote this list?
Ritual abuse.
Oh my God. There is no ritual abuse happening, okay? You know where this came from? A book called Michelle Remembers. Michelle Remembers. I've been reading about this a good bit, and this woman wrote a memoir about how her parents were Satanists, and they used to involve her in satanic rituals and do some real depraved stuff, like I don't know, like they'd use knives and they'd strap it to a table and all that stuff. And the final time that they did these rituals with her, Jesus showed up and stopped them and said, I'm going to erase all of this from your memory until the right moment, and then I'm going to remind you of all of it so that you can write it in a book to prevent people from whatever. That was Michelle Remembers. She wrote this whole book about it, her history. And it was obviously complete bullshit all the way down. And eventually, I believe it got pulled from store shelves. Dude, I wonder if I can find that. Michelle Remembers. Can I find that book? Michelle Remembers, published in 1980. It was the start of the Satanic Panic, and it was partly the result of a new practice in psychology communities that was not well documented, understood, or accepted by the scientific community of pulling false memories to the surface. So she was with a psychologist who was helping her. I'm just trying to download this book real fast. Psychologist trying to help her pull these memories to the surface, and he pulled all of this insane, nonsensical shit. And she wrote a book about it. This actually happened to my mom. My mom knew a Jehovah's Witness that had, helped her, quote unquote, pull all of those memories to the surface. when you pull memories to the surface, you can't tell the difference between the real ones and the fake ones. And when this practice got popularized of pulling memories to the surface like this, the result was like a whole bunch of people claiming that their dad was like, hiding his satanic affiliations and abusing them when they were little and everything else. Weirdly, all of the false memories took the same form pretty much. And that's the exact memory my mom had. And she got the police involved in the whole 9 yards. And they investigated and looked into it and everything and found that it was all fake. It was all incorrect. It was a lie that was like planted in my mom's mind. Now, nobody blames my mom nowadays, like her siblings. I mean, they don't blame her. And they shouldn't, in my opinion. She thought she was doing the right thing. She thought that what she was experiencing was real. It wasn't. So anyway, this massive rash of false memories sweeps across the country, and a bunch of like investigations start into all of these people who were claimed to have been practicing, this black magic and shit. It was like a new, what do you call it? Like a new Salem witch trials, where you're not legally allowed to kill somebody, but this fear sweeps across the nation despite that fact. That's what it was like. So that's the history of false memory and Michelle remembers and everything else. That's what it's all about. That's where a lot of this came from, surprisingly. And my family was touched by this directly. Jehovah's Witnesses fed into the false memory they fed into the satanic panic nonsense. Just like every other like religious group out there pretty much. But my mom, after having those false memories, she recognized how ridiculous and destructive that practice is. So they kind of gave up on it.
Different than just harming a child. Ritual abuse, arson, murder, which might include human sacrifice, or mass murders, or cannibalism.
Oh my God, dude, this is so stupid. And to think that this is all sparked by Michelle Remembers. That is absolutely nuts, man.
Drug trafficking, sexual trafficking of children.
See, all of these things are Satanist practices, and that means that all of these traffickers, all of the people that do all of these things, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, corpse theft, those are all done for satanic reasons, you see. Oh my God, please, people.
Stop it. Get some help.
Corpse theft, cemetery vandalism, black market sales of bones and skulls.
Black market sales of bones and skulls. Who is buying bones and skulls, first of all? Second, why would anybody need to buy bones and skulls when they're doing these services in the first place and sacrificing people and things? Really? They say, they being the people in this film and other satanic panic nutcases, say that there are women that specifically have children with the intent to sacrifice them to Satan or whatever. So they get pregnant and they go all the way to term, they have a kid, and they don't tell anybody, they don't have the kid at the hospital or anything, specifically so they can sacrifice the kid to Satan. It's like, who thought of this? Who thought of this shit? This is disgusting, horrific, and depraved. This isn't happening. Somebody came up with this. This is like really, really grotesque and evil and wrong. What made you think of this in the first place? Holy shit, get help.
Black market baby selling, pornography, desecrating churches or other religious buildings.
And why are those things all grouped together? Human slavery, black market baby selling is all grouped in together with church desecration. Church desecration, really. These people are insane. And like I said, they're still around. These people are still here. They still buy this shit. They're just, like, less believed nowadays.
Human slavery, weapons violations, disposing of animal parts.
Disposing of animal parts? You mean like burying?
Illegal entry into mortuaries and cemeteries. necrophilia, or having sex with dead people.
Somebody thought this shit up. Somebody sat here and thought about this. If I were a Satanist and I had no limits on what I was allowed to do, what would those things be that I did? That is depraved, bro, really. What is wrong with you?